Journeys is recorded at Doghouse Studios. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube to keep the conversation going. Remember, if you like the content, like the content. Hello, and welcome back to Journeys. Today is Good Friday, April 15th. I'm Chad Jones, and namaste. I don't know why I said that. Namaste anyways. I guess that's what you say at the end of a session. I don't know, Shay could help me with that. Anyways, so today we are wrapping up the week that we are talking about purpose. And I kind of want to talk about what I've learned with purpose, at least with this show. I feel like this show is definitely more poignant than it's ever been. It's definitely more like, here's the direction we're going, here's the topic, here's what we're talking about, but there's still like kind of this like abstraction and distraction, I guess, on my end. So I think listening over and making notes and hearing from you guys, I'm just very excited. It seems like Journeys is definitely picking up more steam. There's more views on YouTube, not just like 3. Now there's like 9. So I've tripled my view count, which is just amazing. And yeah, I'm very excited to do next week. I will have a topic. I'm actually talking. I'm in conversation tonight with a couple people. Hopefully this weekend I can get more people for the next couple of weeks. Just throw some interviews out. But it's still very exciting. It's still a very exciting process to make this. And I don't know why I ever drop it, but I do. And I just got to know, hey, it's just worth picking up the next day. That's it. That is it. So, starting about purpose, I kind of want to talk about the point of conception. And that is this idea that when you start anything, when you have an idea, that is the point of conception. The idea can be, I'm going to make breakfast, and then your whole path for that is, well, I'm going to take the toast, put it in the toaster, put the toast down, and then add whatever topping I'd like. I like butter today, so I'm going to put butter on it. And that is it. And that is the point of conception to the process of the journey to the final destination, which in that case is food, and eating food is great. And that's, yeah, so I want to talk about the point of conception, because the point of conception is such an abstract ideology. And a perfect example is when I make songs. Sometimes I have this like definitive, this is what this is going to be about because I am feeling this way. And other times it's more along the lines of, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I think this is cool. Let's try to see if I can make something cool out of it. And they both work. And I think in combination to anything in life, that point of conception, that initial motivation, that thing that really precedes the action, that initial thought. I'm going to go for a run today. I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to tell that person I love them, or I'm going to quit my job, or I'm going to, whatever that point of conception is. I really want to focus on like the next time you want to do anything, whether that's a project or something around the house, I really want you to just think about that point of conception. Where did it come from? What brought it up? Was it a need? Was it a want? Was it some hole in your life missing? But I really want to focus on that point of conception. Just the next time you have an idea, focus on it. Maybe take note. Where did that idea come from? Because it didn't come from nowhere. It came from somewhere, and it had been building for a long time. Just in a way, you've been almost practicing making these points of conception. These very beginning parts of your journey. You're constantly doing it. It's whether or not you follow through. I mean, that's kind of the next thing with purpose is you can have all the purpose in the world, but if you have no action to precede that purpose, you're not going to do anything. And kind of what I'm talking about in this, like, again, I'm reading Lord of the Rings, and it's really good, metaphorically speaking, to add to this when it comes to purpose. Because again, Lord of the Rings' purpose is very clear. We got to take the ring to Mordor. There's not really ambiguity there. And a lot of the time in the book, they're like, well, here's our choice. We can go back and go to Rivendell and then eventually we'll die. Or we can keep going forward and hopefully we won't die. And that's just kind of their attitude for everything. It's like we get to this first roadblock. Well, we can turn around and eventually we'll die. Or we can keep going and hopefully we won't die. And that's the option, like, pretty much every single time. And one thing that I kind of wanted to relate back to my purpose in journeys and making journeys is, it's this, like, creative output that I am allowing myself to really participate in. And not just, like, a creative output that I'm allowing myself to participate in. It's a creative output that I'm enjoying and I like being a part of. And I think that's a big purpose, is just like that enjoyment factor. But there's also this like informative factor where I really want to learn about these topics. And I think that I'm not doing enough learning on my end. And I think that those topics are just being filled with dead air. So that's kind of something that I'm looking into next, is how to grow this, is becoming more of an expert on the topic. So we're going to figure out a topic tonight for next week. I think Rob and I are going to figure out a topic. Hopefully we can talk things over. Hopefully we'll have some like recorded notes and we'll be off to the races for next week. I'm really, really enjoying the communication. I'm really enjoying, again, guys, comment, like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. It really helps, but it also just is nice to see people interacting. I got this big ass comment from Rob about his purpose and how he constantly feels like on his journey he's resetting, at least in his career, and he's very open and honest and candid. If you guys haven't read the comment, read the comment, but I'm going to address it tonight when I talk to him. It really is wonderful hearing from you guys. It's really wonderful hearing your opinions and hearing you answer the question of the day. Because the questions of the day, I don't know if they're getting better or you guys are just getting better at answering them, but it's just so nice seeing these comments. Amanda's commenting. Rob, you're always commenting. I know there's more of you guys that listen every day. I know that you don't all listen to it on YouTube. That's fine. That's great. I just want to know what you guys are thinking about each episode. And that's kind of another thing with this is Journeys is really this conversational piece that I want to keep going. I want to keep having these conversations, bouncing ideas off you guys, because I feel like I'm learning a lot through your views on things. And I'm learning a lot about what I'm talking about, not through research, but through you. So I think that giving Journeys this bigger purpose, one thing that I was told about a podcast is think about what you know and think about who your target listener is. And my target listener, honestly, is me. It's a person who is just wanting to hear a normal person's outlook on life. And I'm going to get to that in the second half. I'm going to talk about my fifis on the subject and all the dark despair that you guys are all here for, all the artistic brooding. But for now, I'm very happy with the results we're getting. I know that this is going to, hopefully I can get somebody I don't know to comment and like, or somebody that's more on the outside, the fringes of my friend circle that I can attract with my voice, but we'll see. We shall see. Those are challenges that we don't have to face right now, but are challenges that eventually will come up. And again, hopefully the content's just going to get better. Hopefully I can just get more articulate. We can talk more and we can bring more of our outside experiences into Journeys. And I'm really excited for that. So remember, guys, if you don't like it, that's fine. Don't like it on the YouTube. It lets me know. It tells me I'm doing a bad. So don't like it. If you do like it, go like the YouTube link. It's always there. It's always in the email. You're just good to go. Like the video, please. And I want the comments. I want to just hear your thoughts. Questions of the day. Answer them. Even if it's a week later, 2 weeks later. Even if this is the 15th episode. or April 15th, but you guys are getting to it in May, reply. I don't care. I just want to hear your thoughts on these episodes, guys. Anyways, with all that begging out of the way, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back, and we're going to talk a little bit about my feelings to the week, my feelings to this topic, and my feelings to these episodes. Thank you so much, and I will be back in a sec. All right, so I'm pretty proud of this week. I think we did pretty good. We did some research. We did some conversation, a lot of the conversation. Again, comments here, there, everywhere, which is great. I'm really, really happy with how these episodes have turned out. I'm really happy with the direction that Journey seems to be taking. Like I said, it's all a part of the journey. I'm not sure what the destination is, and maybe sometimes I should start thinking ahead where I want to get with each episode, where, what headway I'd like to at least have made, and what I've learned. So what did I learn this week? Well, I learned essentially, like, in order to really find purpose, like purpose and meaning are definitely like super subjective things. They're definitely something per person, but you can always have like different purposes, different meanings to things, different ideologies. Things and toys and stuff can be super meaningful or super unmeaningful, I guess. And like the purpose of something might not be directly based on its monetary value or its lack of immediate beauty, I guess. It can be found in the eye of the beholder, I guess. That's really it, is like, does the eye of the beholder take a look at what that purpose is and what that meaning is and give it its own meaning, or is its meaning to exist, or is it somewhere in between? Is it the viewer? Is it the subject? I don't 100% know, but I think sometimes taking a look at your purpose from like 1,000 view height or 1,000 height view from the top of a skyscraper, from space. I don't know really how far, but from far away, taking a look at your life from far away, realistically, it's almost like a flat line. I don't mean like death way, but the way I said it sounded like that. I just mean like a flat line of neutral good, neutral bad. One thing that Rob said in his long comment, his little essay he wrote us, was that he actually absorbs a higher amount of negative energy, like a sponge, like a sponge for all of the hate and I'm just gonna say all the negative energy put out in the world. Rob's like, don't worry, I got you, fam. So it's kind of funny that maybe his 1,000-foot view or my 1,000-foot view might be different, but I would say honestly, like, both of us in general live pretty ebbed and flowed lives. Like, I would say we have good days, we have bad days. I mean, he texted me. You know what? I love actually hearing from him when he's like, dude, this little success that I had, it made me happy. And I'm like, dude, that's amazing. That makes me feel good knowing. Like, he was like, he's working weekends right now. And he told me he went golfing with his dad. He did like 9 holes and he still got to have a weekend. I was like, dude, that is huge. That's amazing. You deserve your weekends. Enjoy your weekends. But moving, whoa, my voice cracked. Whoa. All right, let's reset. Getting too excited here. Yeah, so back to purpose. And like linking purpose with like, why am I making this? Who's listening to this? I think obviously it's like a close group of friends, but you guys enjoy it. I know you enjoy it because when it came back, you guys are like, oh man, I'm actually excited to hear from you again. Which is good because I'm excited to hear from you guys. That's my favorite part about all this, is just that interaction, whether it's on the YouTubes or it's in person with me, like, hey, I listen, it's good. Oh, sometimes I gotta let the episode breathe. I gotta let myself breathe. Ooh, now there's some cold air coming in. Oh yeah, that is great radio. Just great radio background noise. It is what it is. But one thing I did want to talk about with purpose and journeying and all this fun stuff about looping and the circular cycle of life, where you always return to where you started. You start from nothing, you return to nothing. You leave your house every day, you return to your house every day. Is what happens when you hit a roadblock. What happens in your purpose when you hit a roadblock. And what I mean by that is maybe your purpose is shifted, but you haven't really notated it. Maybe it's that you are now confused as to what you're doing because you're now in the middle of the journey and you're like, whoa, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And it shifts and changes. How do you deal with those things? To be honest, I'm not very good at that, but I try to just adapt and say, okay, this is my new reality. This is the new thing. This is my new job. This is whatever it is. Very, very, very specific with me. Let's tackle it. For example, if at work I know I get my work done early, I know they're going to send me back out. So in my head, I'm like, my reality is I am going back on the road. And sometimes, like yesterday, again, super appreciative. They didn't make me go back out. And I told everyone, I was like, guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. This means a lot to me. And I got home early on a long weekend, which feels good. But my normal reality in dealing with that roadblock of, well, usually I have to go back out, is I say, okay, let's just grit it. Let's just do our job. Let's do it efficiently. Not as fast as possible, but efficiently as possible. And get the hell out of here. Same with other things in roadblocks. You hit a roadblock with working out, like, well, you either stop working out like I have, or you push through it like I will. I always do. I hope. And it's kind of one of those things where if you can't go over the mountain, you can't go around the mountain, but you kind of got to go through or under the mountain. It's a take from Lord of the Rings. And you know what? Sometimes that journey into the dark is hard, and you don't know where you're going, and you might get turned around and twisted, and the road might not be clear. But and hell, you might even lose some people along the way. It's just part of life. But eventually, you get through that mountain, and you see the forests, and you see the plains, and you're not in the grimy, slimy dark of the world anymore. And sometimes, you have that grimy, slimy dark of the world, and it's hard to do anything about it. But if you keep working, you keep pushing, and you do something, anything that makes you feel good, at the end of the day, maybe that's enough to get you just a little bit further out of the mountain. Maybe you're still under the mountain. Maybe you're still dealing with the snow on the top of the mountain. You haven't figured out that this isn't the right way. But I think that there's a lot of purpose to venturing up the mountain and figuring out that's not the way. I think turning around and admitting that it wasn't the way is way, way bigger than continuing on a path you can't trod. So I don't know if that metaphor made sense. I hope it made sense. All of it was back to Lord of the Rings, going through the mines of Moria and losing Gandalf and all that cool stuff that I'm about to read. I'm really enjoying it. But this week has been fun. This week has been insightful. I really liked learning about finding purpose and meaning and having that attached to journeys. I think I'm going to return to this topic a little bit further down the road. Maybe I'm going to be doing like a day-to-day, an overview of what I've been talking about. We shall see. But guys, thank you for Friday, April 15th. This episode was brought to you by Chad Jones as always, and brought to you by listeners like you. It's like a PBS show. thank you guys. Have a wonderful Easter. I will talk to you on Monday for Friday, April 15th. I'm Chad Jones. This is Journeys, and I will talk to you on another time.